Good afternoon. Sounds like we have some extra music going on. The music of rain, of pouring rain. So I'm glad that we can all be assembled in here. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's ceremony where we will honor the class of 2021 graduates. I am so thrilled to see you here today, I can't even tell you. I am Margaret Chadwell, as most of you know, Associate Dean of Student Affairs and Career Development. It is my pleasure, true pleasure, to preside over the medical school's 153rd ceremony. We are delighted to have you here. Now I'm competing with the rain. Here in person or joining us virtually from near and far. It is fitting that today we are coming to you from the Renaissance City in this beautiful Detroit landmark. Isn't this a gorgeous atrium? To celebrate a time of rebirth and new beginnings as we emerge from the pandemic to launch this historic class of 2021 Wayne Warrior MDs. There is a notable absence in this impressive space where we are gathered today, and that is the presence of family and friends that have supported your journey to becoming a physician. To all the parents, grandparents, friends, other families, siblings, acquaintances, children, and siblings watching today, we have been in a silent partnership these last 4 years, culminating in this proud moment. Please accept our recognition and gratitude for your devotion to your graduates. For this moment would not have been possible without you, and we wish so much that you would be here with us. Class of 2021, you can take a moment now to acknowledge your family and friends. We will begin today's ceremony with a welcome from Governor Kelly, a member of the Wayne State University Board of Governors. Before we do that, I see almost everybody wearing a mask. I'm not, I'm up here on stage. It'd be kind of hard to do this, but the dean asked that I remind you to maintain your masks throughout the ceremony. You can take them off when you come up for your diploma later and for the pictures. Governor Kelly.
Good afternoon on this very special day for you, for the School of Medicine, and for Wayne State University. On behalf of the Board of Governors, it's my great pleasure to welcome you, the graduates of the School of Medicine's class of 2021. Congratulations, doctors. You've worked so very hard to reach this point, and you should be proud, as we are, of what you've accomplished. Your dedication and commitment have brought you to this moment and set the path for your future success. You're graduating from an outstanding university, and today you join more than 250,000 alumni who call Wayne State their alma mater. In the years to come, you will assume positions of leadership and authority in the communities where you work and live. An expert on leadership and authority, Nelson Mandela, had this to say on the subject on the occasion of his inauguration as president of South Africa. When Mandela said, "Our deepest fear is that we are all powerful beyond measure. While power can be immensely flattering, it can be overwhelming, for with great power comes great responsibility. One must be up to the task." We here at Wayne know that you are ready. The medical profession provides countless opportunities for you to apply your education and skills and to share your talents and gifts with others. I hope you look forward to these opportunities and use them as you render expert support, guidance, knowledge, and care for your patients. They will rely on you. We know that you have what it takes to answer that challenge. Hippocrates said something fitting for today's ceremony. He said, "Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity." I know each of you as Wayne State grads will embody that love of humanity in the treatment of your patients and in your interactions with all you come in contact with, in person and virtually. Congratulations from the Board of Governors and from the entire Wayne State University community. We extend to each of you our deepest and most heartfelt best wishes for success and fulfillment.
Thank you, Governor Kelly. And before we move on, I also want to thank our brass. Thank you for getting this started. It's just beautiful. It's great sounds in here too, right? I would like to now introduce other important members of our university community who took time out of their busy schedules to celebrate with us. Usually we have a whole stage full of people. Today we have the core of those people here, and I would ask you to please rise and be acknowledged. The front row, please. Dee Schweitzer, too. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 12th president of Wayne State University, Dr. M. Roy Wilson, who is joining us via video message. President Wilson.
You know, this past year and a half has been an extraordinary time. We've had to deal with a once-in-a-century event, and we've all had to do things differently. I will too. I will not do my usual formal comments. I thought, what are the three things that I would most want to communicate to you? The first thing I want to tell you is that I'm proud of you. You've worked hard, you've persevered. You know, Wayne State's medical school is special. That's why you came. Your leadership and faculty are committed to the truest ideals of our profession. But you are the crown jewels of our medical school. Secondly, I am truly awed by and thankful for those in our profession who have been making profound personal sacrifices for a larger societal benefit. President Teddy Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood." These heroes and sheroes, men and women, physicians, and I should say other healthcare workers too, have been in the arena. And why is that? Because they can make a difference. That's what's expected of them, and it's ingrained in their identity as doctors. Which brings me to my third message, and that is that being a doctor is not just a profession. It's more than that. It's an identity. It's a strong identity. You know, after being president of one or another university for more than 18 years now, I still identify as a doctor. So once you've accepted your MD diploma, you're never going to not be a doctor again. With that identity comes tremendous responsibility, burdens, and sacrifice, but also tremendous privilege and opportunities. Accept that identity, the responsibility as well as the privilege, and embrace it. Congratulations, graduates. You're great. I'm proud of you. Go out there and do great things.
Thank you, President Wilson. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dean Mark Schweitzer. In addition to his leadership role in the School of Medicine as Vice President of Wayne State University Health Affairs, Dr. Schweitzer works with the Deans of Wayne State's College of Nursing and the Eugene Applebaum College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences on clinical training issues and strengthening collaboration between the three schools to advance interprofessional, team-based approaches to healthcare. An outstanding medical scholar and educator, Dean Schweitzer has served in many hospital and medical practice roles. He assumed leadership of the School of Medicine last April, and while he was present for last year's commencement, this is his first in-person commencement as our Dean. Please join me in welcoming Dean Schweitzer.
Thank you, Margaret. You're all very excited, and I'm very excited too, because this is my first in-person graduation as Dean. And I'm very, very proud of you. It's been a hell of an 18 months, and you've persevered. And that perseverance will hold you in good stead for the rest of your careers. A lot of people say that an MD degree, or any degree, is a ticket to your vocation, in all likelihood, a ticket to success. Others say it's a passport. It's a way to transition, to go from one place to another. I think they're both wrong. It's the going that's the degree. It's not the place that's the degree. It's the pathway. It's not the destination. And your MD degree is the pathway. And it's a pathway to change the world. You've been given a gift to provide health to people. You can go home every night and think that you've done righteous work because you have. But I want you to do more than that. You're Wayne State warriors. You are leaders. And I want you to change society. For 153 years, Wayne State graduates have changed society, and you will be no different. You will be better because you lived through and learned through this pandemic. I wish you three things similar to President Wilson. First, to be safe, and the second, as I've already said, to change the world. But the most important thing is to keep in touch with your school. We're proud of you, we care about you, and we want to embrace and celebrate your successes. So please let us know about them, and congratulations, doctors.
Thank you, Dean Schweitzer. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Jack Folby, President of the Wayne State University Medical Alumni Association. Dr. Folby specializes in anesthesiology and is affiliated with several area hospitals. He and his family are true Wayne State Warrior MDs, and I know that's very true. He's all for you. Dr. Folby graduated from the School of Medicine in 1989. His brother Adam graduated in 2001. And his daughter, Ilana, is a member of this class of 2021. Now that is a proud legacy family. Please welcome Jack Folby, who is here with us today, but has pre-recorded a message.
Thank you, Dr. Chadwell. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Jack Folby from the class of 1989. As the president of the Wayne State University School of Medicine Alumni Association, I have the honor and privilege of welcoming you, the class of 2021, into our alumni family. Some of our graduates have parents, such as me, or have grandparents or siblings who have received their medical degree from Wayne State. Congratulations, legacy graduates and their legacy families. And if you're the first in your family to graduate from our medical school, then I salute you and hope this is an opportunity to start your legacy. The Medical Alumni Association has proudly supported you throughout your 4 years of medical school and will continue to support you throughout your medical career. Please send us news of your accomplishments so we can share them with our more than 23,000 alumni across the country and around the world. And like those alumni who took responsibility for you, supporting you, as a new alumnus, now have a responsibility to support, mentor, and connect with the students who will follow in your footsteps. Besides supporting student activities and organizations personally and financially during this pandemic, our Alumni Association has one more item to add to our stimulus package: a free one-year Medical Alumni Association membership for each 2021 graduate. Now, it's not worth $1 trillion because it's priceless. Please take advantage of the many benefits that come with the membership and load up on some Warrior Med School swag. On a more serious note, I'd like to close by recognizing, with gratitude, each one of you and your mentors for tirelessly caring for our community during this COVID pandemic. Every day there's been conflicting reports on best treatment practices, and as responsible clinicians and researchers, you have stepped up and kept up. We do not take your efforts for granted. While many of your non-medical school friends have learned and worked remotely and even enjoyed more family time, you have been on the front line, present, donning personal protective equipment, trying to care, connect, and comfort patients through gloved hands and eye shields. For some patients, you were one of the last persons they spoke to prior to being put on a ventilator. So on behalf of our Warrior alumni, we have never been prouder to welcome you as our colleagues. Congratulations, class of 2021. Remember, a noble heritage has been entrusted to you. Guard it well.
Thank you, Dr. Folby, and I appreciate your humor because humor is always good medicine. But you had a great segue into a more solemn part of our ceremony today. While this day is a truly momentous celebration and the fact that we are gathered together here mostly in person is truly joyous, we now come to a very solemn part of our ceremony. When we began our journey together, do you remember that in 2017? None of us could have foreseen that a world pandemic was waiting for us and would challenge and impact the very fabric of your medical education. As you transition into your final year as a physician in training, you were confronted with an invisible intruder that threatened to derail your remaining preparation for practice, your transition to residency, and even the very lives of you and your loved ones. During this last year, your noble response to accepting and adapting to the realities of the COVID surge here in Detroit, your service to this community, and your patience was truly commendable. And I've often bragged about this class to others and colleagues in different institutions. Throughout this historic year, you modeled resilience, flexibility, compassion, service, aptitude, and ingenuity. The isolation of the pandemic, rather than dividing, united us to be truly warrior strong. Together, you walked resolutely forward to join the front lines, as Dr. Folby already said, in the heart of Detroit's COVID surge. Learned to don PPE, administer testing, set the example for achieving 100% vaccination, and cared for the sick and dying while trying to keep your loved ones safe, with many of us contracting the virus ourselves. You became rapidly and regularly acquainted with death and dying during your training years in a way that most physicians really do not experience in their entire career. And we each suffered losses: a patient we cared for, a friend, a valued colleague, a distant or even a close family member. At this moment, we would like to pay tribute to all of these precious lives lost to COVID during the pandemic. To help us do that, I would like to now introduce Yusuf Jajo, one of our graduates, and Dr. Eric Ayers, who serves as our Director of Mentoring and Student Engagement. They will take us through this time of healing reflection, beginning with Yusuf, who graciously agreed to symbolically light a candle in memory of his father, also a Wayne physician, and who passed during the COVID pandemic. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Jajo backstage at the Opera House during the White Coat ceremony with his wife, where he was beaming with pride and happiness over Yusuf's beginning path in this noble profession. And I'm sure he would be very, very proud of you today, Yusuf. Dr. Ayers will then conclude the tribute by sharing some brief words of reflection on behalf of all frontline physicians whose ranks you will join today. Yusuf, would you please come up?
Warriors, our creator and sustainer, accept our thanks for the opportunity to gather today. Bless each person here today. Bless our education, deliberations, and fellowship. Give us open minds, a clear understanding, and a steady purpose to make the most of our talents. Lead us to where we can be best served. Guide and direct our school, its leaders, and our own actions. Grant that each of us may fulfill our responsibility to the field of medicine, to our communities, to our country, and to the world at large. Let us be a source of hope and comfort for those in need. May each of us know the joy of caring and sharing. We thank you for this opportunity to serve as physicians. Amen. And before I go, Dr. Chadwell gave me a brief allowment to do this. But I personally would like to say thank you to your class for accepting and supporting the learning communities. You helped move it from a virtual version to a functional engagement warrior machine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ayers. Our next speaker is Mrs. Loretta Robichaud, your class counselor. She, perhaps more than anyone else, walked the difficult path many of you encountered personally with you. her 24/7 unwavering dedication to provide support in your sorrows, share in your joys, and encourage your best is rare and noteworthy and was even more illuminated during the pandemic. She has deeply cared for this class and will now share some words from her vast wisdom and experience with you. Mrs. Robichaud.
Dear class of 2021, congratulations upon earning your Doctor of Medicine degree. It's been my honor and privilege to serve as your class counselor. You have my deepest admiration as you excelled as medical professionals and first responders during a global pandemic. You have persevered in your care of patients with resilience and courage. You have my deep respect and unconditional positive regard as you begin a life of purpose as a physician. I encourage you, as you leave your School of Medicine, to retain a connection with your medical school family and classmates, and to consider a commitment to care for your own health and personal well-being. Care must start with you. Your health and well-being is precious and must be safeguarded. Establish a relationship with your own personal physician who can be a valuable source of support for you. Pay attention to your own eating, sleeping, exercise, and relaxation habits. Establish positive work relationships with those around you and build support systems to share experiences. Your chief resident or fellow can orientate you to your new hospital. They can also be a source of teaching, support, or conflict resolution. You may be assigned a mentor, or you may have to seek and find one. Ask for help when you need it. These activities are rewarding and protective. You have met and excelled at the challenges in medical school. You now have the opportunity to be a role model to others in your chosen profession. Plan carefully to provide and maintain a form of self-support so you can maintain the strength to continue in that profession while providing high-quality care to your patients. And lastly, transfer the compassion you feel for others towards yourself. Take care. I wish you all the very best.
So I've asked Ms. Robichaud to stay up here just for a moment because in my sort of looking back estimation, you've taken responsibility for over 3,000 Wayne physicians that have crossed the graduation stage, and that is remarkable. And I think you were the perfect providential person to guide this COVID class through this time. So we want to particularly recognize you today, and we want to give you a small token of our recognition. It is now my distinct honor to introduce your keynote speaker. Dr. Steffes is a practicing surgeon and our Associate Dean of Clinical Education. For his numerous accolades and titles, I will refer you to the commencement booklet because what I have come to know about him is that these are secondary to him. He is a true physician who fiercely cares about you, his students, physicians in training, his patients, and his family. As the largest single-campus medical school in the country, we are the flagship institution, if you will. When the USS Wayne, so to speak, collided with COVID, it felt more like we were on the Titanic many, many days. But with a fearless captain at the helm, we soon learned that we had nothing to worry about. Dr. Steffes promised that you would graduate on time and navigated this COVID Warrior MD class safely through treacherous waters to the shore of graduation today. I have told him on occasion that we are on a God-sized assignment, and it is now complete. His steady leadership and able guidance has been an inspiration to us all. He will now give his final charge to you, not in an email, but in person. To you, our newest Warrior, Wayne Warrior MDs at this very historic moment, Dr. Steffes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chadwell, and nice that I remember to invite my mother to tune in today to hear somebody else say nice things about me. I'm very happy to be here, mostly because I can come up on stage here and take my mask off for the next 45 minutes, which you cannot. Okay, it won't be 45 minutes, maybe. Fellow physicians, the class of 21, families and guests, I'm honored and thrilled to share some thoughts today and be part of this very special graduation ceremony. Transitions are important, and surrounding ceremonies are central to our culture and our profession, and thus it is fantastic we are able to hold this commencement, even though it is limited somewhat. It's certainly a signal that we are all getting back to normal, and the class of 21 is leading the way. I'm really happy to see that most of the class can join us here, but I certainly understand that with all the schedule changes and everything else with graduation, some of the class had to get on with moving to their new cities, and I certainly understand that, and I'm glad you can all join us over the internet. It is fitting that this graduation ceremony has its stops and starts and friction. It's a microcosm of your medical school years over the past 4 years. The class of 21 is very special to me, not only because of my family connection, but we all started at the same time 4 years ago when I took this job. I feel like we've navigated these waters together, and I've been able to meet and know so many of you. The seas are rough for us getting here today. Curriculum change, leadership changes, political and economic threats, and the final year of pandemic and lockdown. A senior year unlike any other because of travel restrictions and a new residency application process, yet you've persevered and thrived in the challenge. You were all part of beating the pandemic and have finished medical school on time, as promised, and are now ready to join the effort as residents. At the beginning of the pandemic, many wanted to totally shut down medical school. There were calls nationally to skip the year and graduate students a year later because students were in the way. But you persevered in your efforts and found ways to contribute and learn. With all the weird schedules, changes in rotations, testing, makeup activity, and countless emails from me, I never heard a complaint, which worried me a bit, but you're all focused. You all hunkered down and learned the best you could online. When locked out of the hospitals, you went to volunteer testing centers and otherwise put yourself in harm's way for your patients. You did not act in an abundance of caution like the rest, but acted like physicians. You donned your masks as soon as we had them and reported for duty as soon as you could, leading the charge back to clinical education and service in the hospitals. Some of you contracted the illness and recovered. All of you cared for patients with COVID. You are to be recognized, congratulated, and admired. What a tough bunch of physicians in training you have been. Now we send you out in the real battle, and that is a battle not for your own education and livelihood, which is still there, but the career-long battle on behalf of your patients and your profession. So on this occasion, I have about 5 hours of anecdotes, aphorisms, and advice to share, but recognizing my mission to finish in 10 minutes or less and realizing that no one remembers what anybody says at graduation. Anyway, I will limit this to several thoughts about our profession. I will also try to stay on script, because I get in trouble when I stray from the script. I borrowed the ideas from more famous people, presidents and hockey coaches, so even though they are not original thoughts, they may be worth sharing today. First, a bit of history. 234 years ago, at the conclusion of the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin was asked what kind of government we had just formed. He replied, "A democracy, if you can keep it." A democracy, if you can keep it. By this, he meant that this form of government required continued hard work by the people to maintain its existence. When looking at the Hippocratic Oath, I can imagine, apocryphally, a similar question to Hippocrates. If he had been asked what his oath and tradition had created, he would have said, "A profession, if you can keep it." We welcome you into that profession today, but can you keep it as a profession? We have left you in a position of difficulty compared to years when we finished medical school. It was easy then. This profession, as you recite in your oath in coming moments, centers on the patient-physician relationship, not the relationship with insurance companies, venture capitalists, government entities, regulations, big data, artificial intelligence, or a host of others that bureaucrats can only imagine. It only deals with the patient. That is not only the cornerstone, but the entirety of this profession. A profession takes care of itself. It governs itself, educates its progeny, disciplines itself. It does this in recognition of the vast responsibility that it owes to the public in exchange for the privileges that they grant us. However, there are forces that are eroding this. We are in danger of falling short of our duties and responsibilities to patients because we are not living up to our own expectations and commitments in defending the profession, a profession whose one responsibility is to our patients, patients in general, and especially to that one patient we are taking care of at that particular moment of that day. So 3 thoughts on keeping this profession and how the oath of antiquity may speak to our present times. First, don't be a commodity. Second, if you aren't teaching, you're not a doctor. Third, you were born to be physicians. Page 1, don't be a commodity. You're too valuable. We have trained you to conform well. You have learned the correct answers on the MCAT, the answers that are acceptable on the board exams, the answers that your residents and attendings want to hear on rounds. We have started to teach you the information the computer EMR wants, and you will soon be learning what billable information needs to put on the patient encounter in your residency. Checking boxes, attending preferences, best practices, government mandates, insurance dicta, all these can possibly interfere with what you want to do for the good of the individual patient. By the way, these are also the factors that physicians include as causes of burnout as their careers go on, forces that take them away from their patients. In his parting remarks in 1961, President Eisenhower warned of the government, military, industrial complex that affect world politics and peace. Today, he would warn of the government, industry, healthcare complex that often serves to interests other than those of the patient. Over the course of the last 20 and 30 years, driven by the unending flow of money from industry and government, capital has taken over hospitals and physicians, with profit being the clear and singular motive. Academic departments have been shuttered and replaced. Physician practices are sold to venture capitalists. I know I'm sounding a little bit like Bernie Sanders here. Sorry about that. Well, as an example, 2 years ago, 550 residents of Hahnemann University Hospital were fired when the hospital was closed by venture capitalists who decided that the property was worth more as condos. They closed an unprofitable hospital in Philadelphia that had only provided care to the local community. Neither communities of patients nor residents were factored into the financials. The residency slots funded by Medicare were put up for auction, garnering a winning bid of $55 million. This was held up in court, of course, but the precedent was there. Residency training slots are revenue streams to be traded on the market like bushels of wheat on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Now 50% of physicians work for someone else, hospitals, government, someone who can call the shots when there's a need to make a profit. Physicians have lost their financial independence and are in a position of at risk to lose their independence of thought. In the eyes of many, including the payers, physicians are now just another provider, someone to lend their NPI and license to a billable activity and make money for investors. This is far what patients deserve or what they expect. None of this is really new. It goes back to ancient times. There's always been conflicting relationship in economics and medicine. Physicians for years have worked hard to keep the profession, and you must also. My generation is dumping this responsibility on you for the hard work of preserving the practice of medicine for the patient. So don't be a commodity. Don't be a number. Don't be just another NPI in a billing form. Don't be a nondescript provider of some product or service. You are much more than that. Your patients need you more than that. Understand the system, understand where the money goes, and call out malarkey when you see it. Do not become a pawn of the politicians and bureaucrats. Speak up for your patients. You can start by relying on traditions of the profession and the oath that you're about to recite with Dr. Baker. Maintain, safeguard, and protect your right, responsibility, and privilege to do what is right for the patient, no matter the budget, political, or profit implications. Don't be a commodity. You are too valuable. Keep the profession. Page 2. If you aren't teaching, you're not a doctor. Doctor means teacher. It's from the Middle English doctor, from the Latin docere, meaning to teach. First used by Cicero in many centuries BC. A doctor of philosophy teaches philosophy or wisdom. A doctor of medicine teaches medicine. You teach your patients first, your colleagues, fellow medical professionals, then you teach students of all ages and continue this for your career. Wayne State now has a required teacher experience in the senior year. You guys got out of it, but this is how important we feel it is. Teaching will drive your own learning and keep you current in the scientific foundations that guide practice. I hear every day that doctors should get paid to teach. Very few actually make a living teaching. We teach as part of our daily activities. It is integral to our being. Maybe we don't remember our patients, and sometimes they don't remember our names, but remember our teachers, our residents, professors, doctors in practice who share their knowledge with us and teach us how to be better. Continue the teaching you started in medical student into the day one of your residency. There will be students and patients to teach. You do not need to be the world's expert. In fact, you're a better teacher if you're not the world's expert. Work on teaching like you work on patient care skills. They are inseparable. And when the assistant dean from Wayne State or wherever you are calls in a few years when you're in practice and says, some students will like to come and learn, your answer is yes. I'm a doctor, I teach, and I love it. Teaching the profession to others is a basic way to keep the profession. Now on to page 3 in the final page. Since we are in a hockey arena, a hockey metaphor. Herb Brooks was legendary as a hockey coach and led the 1980 Olympic team to a shocking victory over the Soviets that shook the world as the most pivotal sports moment that really affected history. If you have not seen Kurt Russell portray him in the movie Miracle, watch it on Disney+. In his pregame locker room speech before that final game against the Russians, he told a team of amateur college players that, quote, "You were born to be hockey players. This is your moment." I thought of this when looking at the class of 21. You were all born to be doctors, but your moment is not just one game. Your moment is every day of your career, every time you talk to a patient. That is the moment you were trained for, and it will occur many times every day. That is your Olympic moment, your life's work. And you get to do it many times a day for the next 50 years, not just one hockey game. Every time you are listening, diagnosing, comforting, reassuring, treating, perhaps curing a patient and fellow human, that is your moment. What a privilege that is. If you take advantage of every one of these moments with patients, you will not be a commodity. When you fight for every patient against economic, political, and outside pressure, you are bucking the system and preserving the profession that this is made for. And when you use every moment to teach, you touch so many more patient lives. You are every day a doctor. That is what you were born to do. Wrapping this up, as I thought through these risks to the profession of medicine and looking at the class of 21, I've concluded that the practice and profession of medicine is in good hands. You are a welcome and needed addition. You are now part of the profession, and we'll keep it. So thank you for the honor of addressing this graduation ceremony. Congratulations on your many achievements, persistence, and fortitude. And I personally thank you all for helping me get through the pandemic, which we did and got you graduated on time. Wayne State, your families, and you have so much to be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Steffes, for your inspiring remarks on this very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, now the most solemn moment of commencement, the presentation of the candidates and conferral of the degrees by the President. Candidates of the class of 2021, please rise. President Wilson and Dean Schweitzer, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the School of Medicine, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. President Wilson.
The authority to confer each of these degrees is vested in the Board of Governors of Wayne State University by the people of the state of Michigan under the Constitution of the state. This authority is delegated to the President by the Board. Each of these degrees is granted on the recommendation of the faculty of the university. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and upon the recommendation of the respective faculties, I do hereby confer upon you the degree for which the faculties have recommended you, and I admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. Congratulations.
Doctors, you may be seated. Nice to call you doctors. We will now perform the ceremonial hooding of the graduates of the class of 2021. of Wayne State University School of Medicine. The hood is part of the academic regalia that was originally designed as a head covering to keep heads warm in cold, unheated buildings. It dates back to the medieval days of some of the oldest universities in the world. Today, hoods are the most expressive part of the academic regalia. They indicate not only the field of study, which has been completed, but also the degree and the institution's colors. The hood with green velvet running along a black background represents the academic color of medicine, and the yellow and green silk colors represent Wayne State University. I will begin by reading the names of the candidates. We have several sets of hooders that are joining us on stage. The first is Dr. Richard Baker, Vice Dean of Medical Education, and Dr. Sprague, Kenneth Sprague, Associate Dean of Admissions, who handpicked each one of you into this class 4 years ago. And they will begin hooding the graduates. And Dean Schweitzer will congratulate the graduates while handing them their real diploma. It's the real deal. A professional photographer will then photograph each graduate on the stage. And it looks like we're ready. Can I just have that monitor put this way, please? Thank you. Ready? Our very first candidate is Samantha Abdallah. Fawad Abdul. It gets a little tricky. Lana Abdul. Islam Abu Al-Nadi. And obviously some people are not, graduates are not joining us in person, so we'll continue on. Ayat Abied. Madeline Edelman. Aditya Agarwal. David Aguilar. Haveen Audi. Abdel Wahab Ahmed. Shanur Ahmed. Noel Osaraman Akiyoyaman. Rahotep Al-Kabolan. Daniel Amarasinga. Reddy Amin. Sharath Kumar Anand. I know this one, Emmeline Andary. I know most of you, but anyway. Slide, stop playing. Elise Anderson. Jessica Anderson. Vincent Aquino. Tara Alexandra Arvoy. Jennifer Asante. Ayolua Ayola. Bushra Azom. Eric Bali. Garrett Barron. Prabpreet Singh Basi. Raymond Bauer. Talal Bazi. Dana Benyas. Priyanka Bhagat Raj. Eric Blake. Chad Blesky. Allison Bradley. Joshua M. Brady. Another Joshua Brady, and so we've had this scuffle for 4 years. I got it right today, right? You did. Timothy Brash. Jared Bratley. Leo Brayman. Matthew Brockberg. Chandler Bronkema. Brianna Bryan. Connor Buechler. Carolina Bulak. Horia Stefan Calimente. Robert Kalija. George Sabayo. Elizabeth Champagne. Samita Chandy. Furhan Chaudhry. Jerry Chen. Michael Chen. Raymond Chung. Ian Clavel. Fiona Clowney. Kendra Colbert. Eric Koski. Daniel Cotter. Cheryl Craig. Igor Tsinomarkovich. William Daly. Ali Mohammed Daka. Amir Daneshvar. Andrea Daniel. Colleen Darian. Jackson Darling. Joseph Dedvukai. Amod Dekne. Jessica Dilou. Sammy Elias Dia. Alexander Diazak. Raven Dunn. Marjorie Durbin. Stephen Durham. Louise Duvalsin. Sosan Talib Idris. Diane El Ghul. Jafar El Manini. think our hooders need a switch. Good work. I thought they were telling me to go faster, but they need a break. So we have Dr. Folby, President of our Alumni Association, and Dr. Eric Ayers will be hooding the next group of graduates, and they've been previously introduced. So where did we leave off? Radwa El-Sharawi. Amanda Emard. Maritza Esses. Alexis Faber. Bassem Ramsey Farah. Guillaume Farah. Alexandra Elizabeth Flessel. Ilana Sosha Folby. That's why they had to switch when they did. Catherine Forbes. Lena Foad. Jude Bishara Frej. Thomas Friedlander. Danielle Gabe. Aria Gans Wapel. Abesalam Galetu. Kathleen Hannah George. Julia Garris. Sheba Meghna Galapudi. Joseph Gosnell. Alex Green, and Alex, that G is not silent. Caleb Gullidge. Bin Gua. Eric Guo. Paige Garizian. Salman Hayder. Hania J. Halim. Leo Hall. Kelly Marie Hallman. Abel Hamden. Hannah Hanna. Bryant Hanson. Eileen Hock. Megan Harrison. Gorbir Hayhar. Daliobel Hernandez. Luke Hesberg. Monica Hessler. Joshua Hester. Kelly Elizabeth Hilk. Elizabeth Hillman. Matthew Hilton. Amber Holtz. Catherine Hoops. Luke Horton. Tahisha Howard. Richard Sue. Kevin Wang. Jason Hurst. Marisa Ayadarosa. Ahmed Ibrahim. Danielle Isham. Yusuf Jejo. Alexa Jarman. William Jekyll. Fadi Gergis. Stephen John Edward Joe. Jessica Johns. Donald Johnson. Joydip Joy. We're going to go ahead and switch hooders at this time. Thank you so much. And we have our executive dean, Dr. Karen Mortzakis, and Dr. Senthil Rajasekaran, our senior vice dean, or senior associate dean. Joydip Joy. Oh, he left. He gets 2 degrees. Okay. Yasmeet Kaur Kelsey. Ankur Nitin Kapadia. Brittany Kashat. Reem Kashlan. Patrick Jason Cato. Manpreet Kaur. Milan Kaushik. And we have a previous video of his hooding. Samantha Keller. Noshan Khan. Azim Khatri. Ragad Kerala. Jimmy Knight. Vikas Kodali. Hannah Kopinski. Kyle Lalk. Janice Lau. Patrick Lee. Alexandra Lemieux. Eric Anthony Lisney. Shannon Lohman. Cardell Joseph Lewis. Lily Liu. Lucia Luna Wong. Mia Michelle Ma. Pei Chan Ma. Raghav Madan. Manasi Mahajan. I think we had a video for Manasi. I don't know if that's there. If not, we'll go on. Ahila Manivannan. Amanda Manley. Amer Mansour. Monica Marie Mansour. Matthew Martin. Samia Mazumder. Elizabeth Messenger. Jessica Christie Myers. Anthony Milliron. Kirtashwarya Mishra. Matthew Paul Misiak. Sevan Misserlian. Alicia Mehta Mistry. Colt Joseph Moran. Lauren Michelle Morowski. Salma Mamuni. Jesse Joyce Quay and Duque. Lakshmi Narusu. Uche Wagu. Olushey Obadei. Haley Olds. Phil Olson. Kaylee Morgan Appet. Fatimo Oidel. Aaron Punaker. Kelly Park. Jaya Perulikar. Ankur Patel. Kunj Patel. Paraji Patel. Dear Patwa. Ashley Peoples. Natalia Parecki. Cassandra Pino Olier. And we have another change of hooders at this time. Thank you so much. And we'll call to the stage Dr. Steffes, who needs no additional introduction, and Dr. Herbert Smitherman, who is our Vice Dean of Diversity and Inclusion. Yusuf Kadir. Harrison Lawrence Quall. Daniel Kwan. Luke Reagan. Nicola Rakik. Azar Razakin. And he has a hooding video. Brady Reeves. Colin Richards. Elizabeth Ridge. Olivia Ryan Rizzo. Andrew Roberts. Guillermo Rodriguez. Tillman Rosales. Benjamin Ross. Rima Sacker. Megan Rebecca Sample. Dominic Sandler. Stephanie Saravolitz. Medina Serini. Shruti Sadia Kumar. Mohammed Hunain Sattar. Brandon Savage. Vinoja Sibanayagam. Anam Shahab. Deepti Shambag. Catherine Hisham Shango. Paul D. Shea. Aaron Robert Sherwood. Patricia Shee. Caitlin Simmons. Mawaz Sanan. Amitosh Singh. Ramsey Sita. Josie Smith. Zachary Sohim. Brianna Soul. John Sun. Kasim Sufan. Aaron Spencer. Brittany Stallworth. Sabrina Stark. James Stathakios. John Steffes. Christopher Stone. Rebecca Margaret Sturgis. Anjali Sundar. Suha Sayed. Aaron Speitman. Jahan Tejran. Marissa Tandrone. Bhavana Tatali. Manik Taterbay. Chloe Thewis. Nicholas Thomas. Ryan Timer. Aaron Tisek. Anna Tong. Chelan Tran. Vichar Trivedi. Matthew Tuckle. Brian Turco. Anita Yukani. Kirsten Utter. Kelly Valentini. Jordan Van. Akil Badir. Alexander Voitkov. Okay, we're in the W's now. Austin Wara. Daniel Wallstrom. Kashmira Wani. Elizabeth Warbass. Donovan Watsa. Stephen Wertheimer. Kwame Wiafi. Natalie Wiseman. Madeline Wolfile. Haley Worst. Emily Yagihashi. Ariana Yakubi. Brandon Youssef. Armen Hovannes Zaychen. Alexandra Zeddy. Thank you to all the Hooders, and let's have a round of applause for the entire class. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Richard Baker, Vice Dean of Medical Education, and he's already been up here helping us. Dr. Baker will administer the oath to the class of 2021.
We're almost there. Okay. Will the class of 2021 please stand and repeat each phrase of the professional oath of the class after me? Also, I invite all physicians who are present and those who will see us virtually to rise and join the newest members of our honored profession in speaking the oath. I do solemnly swear by all that I hold most sacred that according to my ability and judgment, I will in every particular keep this my oath and covenant. Okay, we got a little, two things going, okay. More energy, okay. I pledge to dedicate myself to the service of humanity and to honor the noble traditions of the medical profession. To hold those who have taught me this art as equal to my parents and to live my life in partnership with them. To give to my teachers the respect and gratitude which is their due. To regard my colleagues equally with my brethren. And to teach this art by precept, by lecture, and by every other mode of instruction to those who practice the healing arts. As a physician, I will maintain the ultimate dignity of life while guiding its arrival, protecting its course, and easing its natural passage from this world. I will offer to those who seek my aid not only my knowledge and skills, but my warmth and compassion as well. Whatever in the lives of those I shall see or hear, either in my practice or outside of my practice, which should not be made public, this will I hold in silence, believing that such things should not be spoken. I will conduct myself with honesty and virtue. With conscience and dignity will I live my life and practice my art. In all circumstances, I will consider every individual as equal without regard to race, creed, or gender, refusing no one my help. I will abstain from every act of injustice and corruption. Above all else, I will do no harm. I freely take this oath and will maintain the noble traditions of my profession, always tempering my science with the warmth and humility of the true physician. You may switch the tassels from the right side of your tams to the left. Congratulations, doctors, and welcome to the profession. Please be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. I would now like to introduce Dr. Yusuf Kadir, President of the Class of 2021. It has been a pleasure getting to know Dr. Yusuf Kadir, and I want to recognize his leadership and dedication in helping to make this live event possible. Dr. Kadir.
Can you guys hear me? Class of 2021, I can't even begin to describe just how happy I am to see all of your beautiful faces here today. I feel like the last time we were all together, Dr. Steffi's probably had a full head of hair. But in all seriousness, Class of 2021, it truly is an honor and a blessing to see all of you guys here today. Before I jump into my speech, there's a lot of people that I need to thank for making this event possible today. Ms. Garradini, Ms. Collier, Ms. Edie, Ms. Port, Ms. Westfall, Matt Karen, Mike Crimmins, Ms. Patrick. There's a bunch of people I'm probably forgetting, but you guys have gone above and beyond in making sure not only that we had this event, but everything pertaining to graduation as well. So I just want to thank you guys, and the Class of 2021 acknowledges all the time and effort you guys have put in. So there's a lot I would like to talk about today, but I'm going to focus in on three important topics. The first thing I want to talk about are the accomplishments that we as a class have achieved over our past 4 years of medical school. Then I want to transition into talking about what it means to be a physician in today's world. And finally, I want to end with how we can continue to make Wayne State University School of Medicine an exceptional place for physicians to continue to develop. Because if you truly love an institution, you will continue to find ways in which to improve it. So Class of 2021, let us begin. I remember our very first day of medical school well. Raghav and I were walking into Jafar Hall for our very first anatomy lecture. And also that was the first and last time every seat in Jafar Hall was filled, because our class soon discovered something really beautiful, and that was the ability to stream lectures online. But from that day until today, it's amazing to see everything that we have accomplished. Some of you guys volunteered at local organizations to better support our Detroit community. Things like Project H, Street Run Detroit, Auntie Naz. And for those of you who volunteered at Auntie Naz, you guys applied for and were awarded the Kresge Grant, which awarded $150,000 to further support the mission of Auntie Naz. You guys presented research at local and national conferences, proving to the country that Wayne State University students strive to be leaders in their respective fields. For those of you that were part of the AMA, you guys understood that advocating for your patients doesn't just end in the hospital setting. You guys understood that you got to advocate at the national and legislative level as well. So an example of some of this amazing legislation was, our students, classmates, Brianna Soul, Kyle Lauk, Jake Wilson, Fiona Clowney, they passed some resolution where essentially they were trying to ban conversion therapy for individuals that identified as LGBTQ+. And their proposal was so well written that it was adopted by the National AMA in 2019. You guys also were part of putting on yearly cultural shows, which highlighted the diversity of our class, as well as educated one another about our different faiths, cultures, as well as our different ethnicities. And of course, you guys were all intramural champions. Whether it was football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, the only championship that we missed out on was the coveted fencing championship. But what I'm most proud of this class for was our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. During this pandemic, especially in the early onset when we were removed from the hospitals, not one of you guys sat idly by. You guys all found ways to be and take an active part in fighting this pandemic. So at the start, you guys found ways to raise money for PPE. You guys found ways to volunteer at the COVID-19 vaccination clinics. You guys found ways to do the COVID-19 testing. And most importantly, you took care of COVID-19 patients in the hospital setting as well. But this pandemic has tested us spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Some of you guys contracted the virus and had to deal with that, and worse yet, others of you lost loved ones to this virus, and for that I'm truly sorry. But through it all, here we are today, here we are together, and here we are stronger than ever. I'm so proud of you guys for how you were able to handle this pandemic and how you guys represented the Detroit community as well. So these are just a short list of things that we've accomplished, but you should all be proud of your individual accomplishments as well. I know that you will all be able to have great success in residency and beyond. So the second topic that I would like to talk about today tries to answer the question, what does it mean to be a physician in today's world? I fully expect that each and every one of you are going to provide exceptional care for your patients, as well as serve as leaders in your communities, just as I hope you hold me to that same standard. But in today's world, the role of the physician needs to be expanded to include serving as a voice for those communities, those peoples, and those institutions that are being marginalized or oppressed. Society has put physicians in a position of power, and we need to utilize that power to better serve those who may not have the opportunity to speak for themselves. So I want to give two specific examples in which physicians served as a voice to a community being oppressed. And before I share those two specific examples, I want to share with you all two fundamental beliefs that I hold near and dear to my heart. The first fundamental belief that I hold is that there is nothing in the world that is greater than oppression of any kind. The greatest atrocity that one human being can inflict upon another human being is oppression. And secondly, if you kill one innocent human life, to me that's as if you killed all of humanity. And if you save an innocent human life, it's as if you saved all of humanity. So that's how much I value one single innocent human life. And so the first example I want to talk about is how in 2020 we saw a rise in police brutality against our African American brothers and sisters. And specifically, I just want to focus in on how physicians helped. What was the role of the physician? So physicians took to social media to condemn the violence. Physicians engaged in protests throughout the country, and physicians gave donations to the families that were affected. In addition, physicians called on local politicians to enact legislation, as well as calling for institutional reform within police stations. Those are all the different ways that physicians sought to help a community or a people being oppressed. And the second example that I want to focus in on relates to the humanitarian crisis occurring in Palestine. And again, physicians did much of the same thing, social media, protests, donations, but physicians also did something that physicians do best, and that's to educate. Much like a physician educates patients about their disease, physicians were educating the public about the nature of this conflict. And we just need to understand, right, that, evicting people from their homeland, that's not okay. Killing innocent men, women, children, that's not okay. But the reason why I'm just bringing up these two topics just briefly is to understand that from the first day of medical school, we are taught to do no harm. The greatest thing in the world that we can do is understand that being silent and complacent when oppression and injustice are occurring throughout the world is to do harm. And I'll say that one more time. Being silent and complacent when oppression and injustice are occurring throughout the world is to do harm. As physicians, I hope we utilize our power to always speak for those who can't speak for themselves. And the last topic I want to focus in on is how we can continue to make Wayne State University School of Medicine a superior institution for future physicians. The two greatest qualities of Wayne State are the Detroit community that we serve, in addition to the clinical experience that we get here. The clinical experience at Wayne State University School of Medicine is truly unparalleled. Our clinical partners, specifically Henry Ford and the Detroit Medical Center, they give us exceptional clinical experience because of their willingness to teach, their passion for learning, and their ability to give medical students' ownership of our patients. That's why Detroit is the greatest place to learn in the state of Michigan. And you guys don't have to take my word for it. Take a look at how almost every medical school in the state of Michigan is trying to establish roots in Detroit. We all know that Henry Ford and MSU have struck a deal. We know that CMU is at Children's Hospital of Michigan, and the University of Michigan, which has a premier hospital system of their own, their medical students can do an emergency medicine rotation at Henry Ford, and that's considered a home rotation for them. So we need to protect our clinical experience. That is what makes us exceptional. That's why we're going to be great residents, and that's what residencies want. As the great Dr. Steffies once said, there's some medical schools in the state of Michigan that see medicine. There's some medical schools in the state of Michigan that learn medicine, but there's only one medical school in the state of Michigan that actually practices medicine, and that is Wayne State University School of Medicine. And my last parting advice is just that I want administration, faculty, and students to continue to form memorable relationships with each other. The class of 2021 is forever indebted to Dr. Steffies, Dr. Chadwell, because we felt that no matter where we were in our careers, they're willing to go to bat for us. Dr. Steffies, Dr. Chadwell have seen us from our first day as terrified first-year medical students to today, our last day as terrified soon-to-be interns, and everywhere in between. It has truly been an honor to learn from them and to grow with them, and I hope that this just continues for every class they have relationships like that. And I'm very proud to have been afforded the opportunity to go to Wayne State University School of Medicine, and I have no doubt that it's going to continue to be an exceptional place of learning, but we must protect our clinical experience, and we must continue to form amazing relationships with our faculty and administration. And I just want to end my speech by addressing the Detroit community, addressing one special person in my life, and then addressing my classmates. So to the city of Detroit, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to learn from you and for giving me the opportunity to serve you these past 4 years. The trials that I've seen you endure and the resiliency to keep fighting has humbled me time and time again. I may be physically leaving the city of Detroit for residency, but my heart belongs here. So my dream one day is to come back, be an attending at Henry Ford, and continue to serve the Detroit community that I'm forever indebted to. And to my mom, everyone here today probably has one person that either led them into the field of medicine or one person that helped them reach the point today in their careers. And for me, that's my mom. And it's no secret that I'm a mama's boy. You guys can't see it, but there's still an umbilical cord attached between me and my mom. In fact, Dr. Steffies tripped on it earlier on his way to his seat. But to my mom, I'm just thankful that she led me into this profession. And for those who've gotten to know me, everything that I am, everything that I'll be, and everything that is good and part of me, it came from my mom. So to my mom, thank you for everything you've done to my family, and thank you for the man that I am today, and for paving the way for the physician I hope to one day become. And lastly, to my classmates, you guys know that I'm not perfect. Probably the only perfect thing about me is how perfectly imperfect that I am. So throughout our 4 years here together, if at any point, I said something or I did something that offended you, please know that was never my intention, and from the bottom of my heart, I ask for your forgiveness. I love you guys, I truly do, and I think I missed the class-wide memo that went out earlier this year where everyone decided to get married or engaged, but if I would have known sooner, I would have definitely hit up my grandma to help me get married, because in life there's only 3 constants, right? Death, taxes, and the ability for a grandma to get her grandkid married. So class of 2021, congratulations, we did it.
Thank you, Dr. Kadir. Before concluding the program, I would also like to thank my entire staff for working relentlessly behind the scenes to make this a happy occasion for all of you. They know who they are. I'm going to point them out. Our sincere gratitude also extends to Ms. Emily Brandt and the Olympia Entertainment team, Mark, who worked with our AV team in collaboration and opened their doors to us, kept us out of the rain today, and making it possible to bring this milestone event to you. I would like to recognize, yes, let's applaud that. I want to also say that I neglected to introduce one important individual, that's Dr. Buza, who's our assistant dean, who was helping to pass out diplomas, and he wasn't one of the hooders, so somehow he got lost in the shuffle, but not forgotten. So he's our assistant dean of, would you stand up for a second, of continuous quality improvement and compliance. He's the tall guy. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes work. He was, you guys know, he got you tested through for 4 years, so, and all kinds of other things. There's one additional person that I would like to recognize now before we close, who has been with the School of Medicine for over 47 years, and for whom today's graduation is the last one. This is Mrs. Jasta Jones. Where are you? There you are. Come on up here. She has been an integral part of every single commencement, and we want to thank her. She's our recorder. She helps to make sure that your degrees are actually correct and deals with all of that. So we want to thank her for her dedication. Come on up here. Finally, graduates, I would like to congratulate you on this amazing accomplishment. I will venture to say that you have sacrificed and achieved more than any other class, and that includes my own class, in the history of our school, and we could not be more proud of you, our unforgettable class of 2021. Thank you all for joining us today, and God bless. If you could all turn around, there's a guy in a bright yellow shirt, you can't miss him. That's Matt Guerin, and he would like a group photo. So Matt, you take it away with your instructions up there. One more last instruction, I'm sorry. Ms. Giardini reminded me to let you know, please turn in your regalia, your rented regalia, and pick up 5 programs.